Hello and welcome back to Taiwan. I'm leaving the capital city Taipei today and heading to the rural part of the eastern side of the country, visiting some indigenous communities, and I'm going to be doing so over the next 2 or 3 days. I have a private car for the next few days with a guy driving me around. After a 3.5-hour drive or so through lots of tunnels and beautiful green hills and mountains with the clouds and the mist above, we have arrived here in Hualien County on the east coast of Taiwan. We're about to go into a house here of expert weavers who belong to the Truku tribe. So this here that I'm wearing is the cape, and it can be used to keep warm when in the mountains and colder times, or it can be used like so. But this one is slightly big for me, but you can get an idea of what it's like. And this was made by the lady here's son. You can see here the various motifs, numbering around 20 on this one. This work represents the strong light at noontime. This one is supposed to represent the nighttime. You can feel it. It's a bit tough. This is used as sort of blankets and to protect from the cold, the wind, the elements. There's more than 100 different motifs. This is just one. We have the skirt and the belt here. This is the jacket, which goes over the arms. It can take many months to complete one of these through several people. This pattern here is often referred to as the eye of the ancestor. So having just come out of the family workshop there of the weaving, I have taken with me this bracelet which I helped weave myself. He taught me just a little bit. There's a couple of pictures of me doing so. You can see the pattern here is also in the style of the tattoos some of the people put on their faces, or used to put on their faces. We'll see more of that later as we're going to investigate a bit more about tattoos. Many of the indigenous people today live in communities that don't look too dissimilar from others in Taiwan. You wouldn't really know that this is an area that is dominated by the Truku tribe. When the Japanese were here, many of the indigenous people had to be forced from the mountains down into quote-unquote more normal or everyday circumstances, and so many of them don't wear their traditional clothes. They integrate with modern society. Many of them are Christians, so it's an interesting thing to see. So now moving on to lunch at a well-known indigenous restaurant which fuses the indigenous food, they belong to the Truku tribe, the same tribe, with modern cooking methods. So what you saw the girl smashing there is this hunter's rice, which people would take with them into the mountains on long trips, and it's kind of sticky in texture. Alright, so now sat down and have the food here. We've got turmeric infused rice, white rice, vegetables, fried fish, some sausage, some okra, and some chilies right here, as well as some corn soup and more food to come. So really loving the food here, an array of choice. Another dish has arrived. One of them is kind of like a banana tofu. Another one is a sweeter tofu. We've also got some meat, some chicken and pork there. One thing I like about this restaurant is the fact that it's surrounded by one of the owner's artwork, and the fact that you sit outside, you can feel the breeze, you feel like you are almost, you know, eating in the mountains. That's kind of how the indigenous food is supposed to be eaten in that type of environment. So really good, and I highly recommend this restaurant. I'll leave the name of it down below if you're interested. So following lunch, we are now here at a place where a guy here called Pitaru makes musical instruments in this workshop, and he's also a member of the Truku tribe.
早期的话还没有这个铜器的时候，我们这个是我们太鲁阁族最原始的口簧琴，一体成型。
是用什么？也是用
竹子。
Okay. So before they had the metal, before they had access to metal to make the reed, they used bamboo.
So these instruments here, as you heard him playing there, they make this certain sound, and often it comes from the inability to express what you really want to say because of the spirits, because of certain societal repercussions of saying those things at that time in the mountains. And so the noise that it makes is similar to the Truku language, and so it has this kind of effect where you can express yourself and those things that you couldn't normally express. So there are two flutes here, and this one is more of a musical instrument, and this one is more of, you could say, like a spiritual instrument, and it is played after taking somebody's head in a headhunt. You take the spirit of the person with you after playing this, where this one is used more for sound. So right now they're having a dialogue together using the instruments. So after we have the xylophone made from wood, and these came about after the Japanese forced the Truku tribe to come to lower elevations. They could be louder, they didn't have to worry about offending the spirits, and they could also notify their neighbors of any events that were going to take place, whether that was a celebration or killing a pig or something like that. Then the sound could travel across fields. So he doesn't just make musical instruments, he also has these large baskets here which can be used to put things in when going up to the mountains. And these are made from rattan, a type of weaving that many of these tribes have done for many years. On the way to the next place, and we're just stopping by Taroko Gorge, which has been cut out over a long period of time by the Liu River, and you can see how high either side reaches. The river is not in full flow at the moment. There is obviously a ton of marble and some very dramatic roads to make for an interesting drive. It's one of Taiwan's top tourist attractions. and it runs for a long while, I believe something like 18 kilometers. But as this video is focusing on more of the indigenous communities, I'm just giving you a quick glimpse of it. After passing through the gorge, I'm now here in the Indigenous Facial Tattoo Museum, which basically features many portraits of numerous individuals who had tattoos on their faces. The name of the person who took all these portrait photos is Kimi Simbal, and he did it over many decades, going to some of the most remote areas to photograph and document the lives of these people. His work has done a lot to give them recognition and prevent discrimination. So many of these elders had their facial tattoos done when they were very young, and it was believed to be a bridge between them and their ancestors so that they would pass through to the next life. The women tend to have like a beard shape, and the men a line. Do you have a favorite picture? A favorite portrait? All of them.
然后呢，不是会流血吗？不知道，他先彩绘，
So
Yeah.
yeah.
彩绘好了以后呢，因为他女生的比较细部，他这边有一根，
Okay.
完全是这样刺的。
Hello and welcome back. Today is another day. I spent the night in Hualien City and I was very tired, so I didn't film much from the hotel. From Hualien City, we have driven along this coastal highway and have reached Patarongan Art Studio, which is owned by a family belonging to the Amis tribe, and we are going to drive up a little bit here to the source of the rattan. So he has headed up there to see where it's coming from. He said that this one is around 25 years old. So to get it down, they're going to have to pull hard to get it loose.
它还没有那么有韧性，会缩水。那缩水的时候，它变皱掉。
They've managed to pull most of it down. As you can see, the edges are thornier. So now that they have taken the rattan down and skinned it of its thorns, you can see the palm heart in the middle, and here we are. That's what all the hard work and effort is for. Not easy to take the rattan from the conditions in the heat. Usually it takes 3 men. So we're now back here at the workshop, and they are going to take the rattan that they have cut and make some of the items that you can see around here. It's used for all sorts of things. Also bamboo is used too. So trying a little bit of the palm heart, which was cut out there. You can't eat too much because it can give you diarrhea, so just having a little bit. Tasting it raw. It's not as bitter as I was expecting. Yeah. So after taking the rattan, you need to wash it in order to get rid of the blackness, and then dry for about 3 hours or so. This is an example of a dried one from earlier, which he is using as we don't have 3 hours to dry this one. This is what it looks like after that process. So he uses the rattan to make rings like this.
是这样。
每一个藤它其实现在是顺的，之前它都会跑来跑去、弯曲弯曲的，它现在就会变完全是在同一个线上面。
对，所以
然后，可是这个是因为要做鱼泉的那个藤环。
So for this fish trap here, you can see the rattan has been used for the center. So many of the items mix rattan with bamboo.
一些棉布、纱布来跟竹编结合，然后会染上颜色这样子。那也有用画的，所以我们现在在做那个是 indigo，indigo 要染在布上面，然后再。
So the rattan is highly flexible, so you can shape it into many things that you want, but it also takes a lot of experience to be able to do so. So now here in Taitung County, and this is a different region. I'll show on the map exactly where it is. And we are here with the Amis tribe, and we're going to be seeing how they make the rice wine.
First of all, we have to cook this. This is sticky rice, sweet rice. That's okay. Yeah, this is sticky rice.
So this is only made around the time of the harvest, the Mid-Autumn Festival, or for VIP guests or special occasions. So you leave it like this for 4 or 5 days, and then we have what we're about to try right now. Alright, giving it a try. Yeah, it is very sweet. It's like a dessert, I would say.
Don't get drunk.
Yeah, I'm going to be drunk soon.
It's okay, he's not driving.
Okay, we do.
谢谢. Tasting the final result, made earlier by a grandmother in the know, so Gambe. Wow, that is actually really sweet. Yeah. It's very nice. It's almost like juice.
She says she's an alcoholic.
Yeah. Me too.
没想到这个那么甜。
因的产品也是后黑，
我还没有喝过。
What percentage?
percentage 说几趴，其实90几趴。
酒精吗？ Not really strong. I think it's-
$15%?
I think
10%?
it's 10 to 12.
Okay.
要加冰块哈。
But it's sweet 20.
Oh hey.
后黑，耶，后黑。When we children, this is because we don't have money, so.
然后呢，你要讲解。
Kind of toy for kids.
She's good.
9、10，还有这个。This is shell flower.
对，
等一下我们要手工编织，然后这个给你们看 ，This is 果子，月桃果。You can 晒干，
You can dry.
晒干之后它就会变黄黄的这个颜色，
So become yellow.
然后里面的那个一粒一粒的，它可以泡茶，凉凉的。
So as you can see, many people from the Amis tribe are excellent with agriculture, that every plant has its use.
Okay, with this.
So we're back now, and we have collected the shellflower stalk, and here you can see the dried shellflower stalk and an example of what you can do with it. This is a mat for, you know, eating. You can put your dinner on it. So here's the technique to thread them through, which we've been practicing.
那这个是哪里？
Minukai.
啊，你们在这个地方。
Ano ito? Tumis and
Tandang ko may mama ila gan may sila to ya. Kumain kita ko tu hahak tulun silaw.
Nai ito. Kita kumain ka ano.
Hai. Okay.
Now here, just a few kilometers down the road at my guest house for the night. It's called something like Break Up chocolate inn or something in Chinese. I can't quite remember. But it's a pretty cool modern looking place. This is the ensuite. Not promoted, by the way, I just want to give you an idea. The bed here and the view of the Pacific Ocean ahead. Obviously it's a little bit overcast right now, but still pretty cool. I will walk out to the balcony just here. Here we are. The ocean breeze and the design of the hotel, as you can see. The sound of the waves and birds chirping. Hello and welcome back. It is now the final day of the Eastern trip, and I have now left that hotel by the Pacific Ocean and headed slightly further south. We're kind of more towards the mountains now. This village is part of the Bunun community or tribe, learning a little bit about their culture to finish things off, as well as going for a hike with great views of the East Rift Valley. So a half an hour drive or so up from the village, and we're now here. We're about to start the hike, which goes on for a few kilometers, as well as being introduced to various things to do with the Bunun culture.
Cheryl老师但爱当等下英国的朋友啊，古神经的丹东哦，我安达拉王到那单那辛巴斯干，下拉王到那单那鲁布，我没爱在下unsin下tunda dan tan hai ai sima daw ahaduda, ung hai nangalang na mampain, ap下拉王到那单isaang, ah, man unin na so.
What you saw there was the man notifying the ancestral spirits of our arrival to ensure our safe passage. This is an example here of a marker which a man or a hunter who's going out for around 4 days to let everybody know that if he doesn't come back by the 5th day that he is out hunting, and it may be that he's just weighed down or something, or he could have tripped and fallen, but they will start a search party, and this is just to let people know that he's out there, and if there's a problem after 5 days then to come and find him. Heading down now. So this here is a stone wild animal trap.
比如说这个动物啊，直接吃下去啊，哦，它就是这种样子，它被压下去了。
还有 wild boar, yeah. Wow.
He's telling me that there are tracks here of wild boar. So the Bunun are known for being a hunting tribe, and that is why they have lots of these different methods of traps and things. The Amis, who we saw yesterday, they're known for collecting the rattan more often than not.
延续前面的哈，一样都有蛇哈，我们就知道我们的路往哪里走。
The man in front of me, he is bending some of the twigs on the trees as markers so he doesn't lose his way, and also people can also follow the path if for whatever reason there is an emergency of some kind. This here is the Sholong yam, which is the plant to make the natural dye which many of the indigenous people use. We're doing the steep part now, which is very common for the Bunun people. They often have to make their way up difficult routes. They wouldn't have ropes set up like they do for this easier part of the trail today. There are a few things that are taboo here amongst the Bunun tribe when hiking, and one of them is if you sneeze or even if you fart loudly, then everyone has to stop for 10 minutes or so.
等到它已经完全没有挣扎了，我们再就近距离这样。
So they from a distance they can shoot it from a
就这样。
distance.
方哈，好，用这种方式哈。
Every member of the tribe has their own call as they return home, and this is an example of one individual's call.
哎呀，嘟哎呀，嘟，嘟哎呀呀，嘟，
哎呀呀，嘟哎呀。
So following the hike, we had a incredible indigenous lunch and many different dishes and things. The smoked chicken, taro, pumpkin, a dessert made from corn, and then also here, I should mention, is the Eastern Valley, which separates two mountain ranges. The coastline is behind those ones, the Pacific Ocean. But I'm gonna end things here, as I am about to take a train back to Taipei after making my way back down to the bottom. So I'm going to end this video covering the indigenous tribes of Eastern Taiwan. Here there are more than 15 different tribes, and I've only just covered a few of them. A lot of people don't really know a lot about the Aboriginal culture here in Taiwan, but it exists and it is in abundance. So many interesting things to come and see. And thank you very much for watching, and I hope you found this video interesting, and I'll see you on the next one here in Taiwan.